Gotta change those. Well, one came out. There's usually at least one that's not going to come out. This is a big C-clamp that's designed for these brake shoes. It's kind of springy because it's new, and I put some grease down in the hole, but it's got air trapped. It won't come back out. It won't stay down in there. Now, before I had this, I just used a ball joint C-clamp for car ball joints, and it's the same design, but it's a little bit smaller than this, and it worked. But I had to kind of heat this thing up on one of my brake jobs. A lot of times, if your hub isn't on, you can do it from out here. It's easier, but when the hub is on there, you kind of got to do it backwards from behind. And I'm not going to be able to get a power tool behind it, so I'm going to have to turn the axle or turn the steering wheel a little bit. Looks like I can get on there now. Okay, I see what happened. The pin, the shoulder of the pin is hitting this. It's not dead center. This thing slipped, the position slipped. I thought that's what the problem was. We got part of the bushing coming out over here on this side. Let's see if I can get a close up on that. That bushing is coming out with the pin, which is good. It's easier to change the bushing that way. But I think this was wedging and jamming inside the cup on the tool. I think I'm going to have to put some heat on it. That rascal is tight, and it's still stuck in here. Oh, there goes all the guts out of my tool. Since part of this bushing is sticking out a little bit, I'm going to try. Okay, there's a seam in the bushing. It's right here. In this case, it's right there. I'm going to try to just chisel this thing out near that seam, get it to fold over, and might be able to get this bushing out that way. I wish it was a carbon steel, but it's not, so I can't cut it with a torch. Well, I got a sawzall over here, but I can't get in straight, which means I'm not going to be able to cut the middle of it, only the back edge and the front edge. Now this top one I might be able to get from the back side. The bottom one I can't, because this thing here for the tie rod is in the way. Well, that came out pretty quick. Maybe I can get it from out here. Never go full speed with a sawzall cutting metal, because you'll burn up the blade real quick. I think that should be through. That should be down into the meat of the metal by now, which won't hurt anything if there's a cut in this casting. That won't hurt nothing. Yeah, it's coming out now. Yeah, I did cut into this a little bit, but it won't hurt anything. Now when you're putting these rollers, when you're putting these bushings in, I'm just tapping it in from the outside slowly, and I'm checking with a roller. As long as that thing is going in there, it's okay. And if it feels, and in this case it feels fairly smooth in there, there's not a lot of rust inside. If there's a lot of rust, you got to get that out. And my personal preference is to have that gap in the bushing. The gap that's in the bushing, here it is. I like to keep that on the top because so many times I got to use a sawzall to get it out. Well, with a sawzall you want to cut down. You don't want to hold the thing upside down and cut up, because you want your cut to be on the opposite side, or at least a pretty good ways away from that cut there. Make sure I didn't mushroom the edges of that. If I did, I'll have to take a file and clean it up. But it works good. And I've already got some WD-40 in there on this one. These went in real easy. Usually, when I had that much trouble getting those pins out of there, those bushings are rusted in so tight that I can't get them out. And once I cut them out, then there's so much rust in there built up on the inside that I have to spend a lot of time scraping and chiseling and filing that rust out of there. Well, I'm going to redo what I just did because I didn't have the camera on record. I like to take this marine trailer bearing grease. It's for boat trailers so that it keeps water. It doesn't absorb water, or at least it says it doesn't. I like to wipe that on my bushings and inside my bushings and on my rollers before I put that together. And I just dropped this one and got it dirty, so I got to clean it off.